wood. As soon as he saw that piece of wood, Master Cherry was filled with joy. Rubbing his hands together happily, he mumbled half to himself.
This has come just in the nick of time. I'll use this to make a light for my table.
He grasped the hatchet, but as he was about to give it the first blow, he heard a wee, beseeching voice, saying in a beseeching tone,
Please be careful. Do not hit me so hard.
A look of surprise shone on Master Cherry's face. He turned frightened eyes about the room to find out where that wee little voice had come from, and he saw no one. He peeped inside the closet. No one. He looked under the bench. No one. He even opened the door to look up and down the street. And still no one.
I guess I thought I only heard a
He
voice.
struck a most solemn blow upon the piece of wood.
Oh, you hurt!
Who is making that voice when there's no one around? Could it be this block of wood who learned how to weep and cry like a child?
The poor fellow was scared half to death, so he tried to sing a happy song in order to gain courage. He set aside the hatchet and picked up the point to make the wood smooth and even. But as he drew it to and fro, he heard the same tiny voice. This time it giggled as it spoke.
Stop it! Oh, stop it! You tickle my stomach!
Ah!
A loud knock sounded on the door.
Come in.
Hello, Master Cherry. What are you doing on the floor?
I am teaching ants their ABCs.
Good luck with that. I came to beg you for a favor. I need a block of wood to make into a marionette. Will you give it to me?
I have the perfect piece right here.
Master Cherry was very glad indeed to get rid of this piece of wood, which had frightened him so much. But as he was about to give it to his friend, it slipped out of his hands and hit against poor Geppetto's thin legs.
Ow! You almost made me lame!
I did not do it. The fault is that piece of wood.
You threw it at my legs!
I did not.
You did!
Geppetto, do not insult me.
I'm sorry, friend. It must have been an accident.
Think nothing of it.
Thank you for the wood.
Then Geppetto limped home with a fine piece of wood.
I am very fine, aren't I?
Ah!
Geppetto was a poor man who lived in a small house that was neat and comfortable. As soon as he reached home, Geppetto took his tools and began to cut and shape the wood into a marionette. He made a beautiful wooden puppet. But just when he finished making the puppet's feet, he felt a very sharp kick in his shin.
Ouch! 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 Did you do that? Ouch! If you can kick, maybe you can walk. I can teach you to walk, and you can be my son. But you must be a good son.
He took hold of the marionette under the arms and put him on the floor to teach him to walk. Pinocchio's legs were so stiff that he couldn't move them. And Geppetto had to hold his hand and show him how to put one foot after the other. When his legs were limbered up, Pinocchio started walking all by himself and ran all around the room.
Woo! This is fun! Woo!
Yeah! He came to open the door, and with one leap, he was out into the street.
Hey, catch him!
It's the police!
Here's your phone.
When we get home, we'll settle this matter.
No, I won't go. Hello, Papa. I'm not surprised he doesn't want to go home. Geppetto will probably beat him. Geppetto looks like a good man, but he may try to tear that poor puppet into pieces.
I cannot be responsible for that. Geppetto, you're coming to jail until you calm down.
I'm grateful, boy, but I still think of you as my son. Go home.
I can't believe that.
outfit after another toward home. In his wild flight, he leapt over brambles and bushes and across brooks and ponds, as if he were a goat or hare being chased by hounds. On reaching home, he found the house door half open. He slipped into the room, locked the door, and threw himself on the ground, happy at his escape. But his happiness only lasted a short time, for just then he heard someone say, "Crick, crick."
Who is calling me?
"I am." Pinocchio turned and saw a large cricket.
Tell me, Cricket, who are you?
I'm the talking cricket. I've been living in this room for more than 100 years.
Today, however, this room is mine. Get out now.
I refuse to leave this spot until I told you something important. Woe to boys who refuse to obey their parents and run away from home. They will never be happy in this world, and when they are old, they'll be very sorry for it.
Oh, tomorrow I will leave this place forever. If I stay here, I will be sent to school. I hate studying. It is my fun to chase after butterflies and climb trees.
If you go on like that, you will go into a perfect downfall, laughing stock of everyone. If you do not like going to school, why don't you at least earn a trade and earn an honest living?
I just want to eat, sleep. I just want to eat, sleep, drink, and play.
Those who follow that trade always end up in the hospital or prison. Poor Pinocchio, I am sorry for you.
Pinocchio realized that he was very hungry, but he could find no food in the little house.
The talking cricket was right. If I hadn't ran away from home, and if Father were here now, I wouldn't have been dying of health. Oh, how horrible it is to be hungry. Oh, oh, oh.
And his stomach kept growling more than ever, and he had nothing to fight it with. He decided to go out for a walk to the nearby village in hopes of finding some charitable person who may give him a bit of bread.
Ow, 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 ow. No one gave me any food, and I'm still wet from the rain. Oh, I wish my father was here. I'm sorry I was such a wicked boy. I'm so hungry and so tired. Well, at least I can sleep.
Pinocchio fell instantly asleep. At dawn, he opened his eyes just as a loud knocking sounded at the door.
Who is it? It is I, Geppetto. Father, I'm so very home. The night has been a terrible one. I fell asleep and I'm so hungry.
And Pinocchio began to cry so loudly that he could be heard for miles around.
These 3 pears were for my breakfast, but I gave them to gladly. Eat them and stop moving. If you want me to eat them, then please peel them for me. Peel them. I never thought you would be so fussy about your food. I will not eat the pears if they are not peeled. I don't like them.
And so good old Geppetto took the pears over to the table. He peeled the 3 pears and gave one to Pinocchio. Pinocchio ate one in a twinkling, and just as he finished, he began to throw the core away.
Oh no, don't throw it away. Everything in this one may be of some use.
Pinocchio ate the 3 pears, or rather devoured them. Then he yawned deeply and wailed,
I'm still hungry. But I don't have any more to give you. All I have are these 3 cores and these skins. Well, if there is nothing else, then I'll leave them.
At first, he made a wry face, but one after another, the cores and skins disappeared from the table.
You see, I was right. One must not be too fussy about food. My dear, we never know what life may have in store for us. To show you how grateful I am, Father, I'll go to school now. However, in order to go to school, I need something very important, the ABC book. Okay, but how shall we get it? That's easy. We go to a bookstore and buy it. But I have no money to buy you a book. I have an idea.
Geppetto ran out of the house without another word. After a while, he returned. In his hands, he had the ABC book for his son. But the old cape was gone. The poor fellow was in his shirt sleeve, shivering with cold.
Father, where's your coat? I have sold it. You sold your coat to buy me an ABC book? Oh, thank you, Father. Now you must be off to school, and I must look for work. Oh.
off and the performance had started.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
The theater was full of people, enjoying the spectacle and laughing till they cried at the antics of the marionettes. The play continued for a few moments, and then suddenly, without warning, Harlequin stopped talking, pointing wildly at the audience, yelling at the same time,
Look, look, am I asleep or am I awake? Or is that Pinocchio there?
Yes, yes, it is Pinocchio.
Hooray! Pinocchio!
Harlequin,
Pinocchio, come up. Come to the arms of your wooden brothers.
Pinocchio raced up to the stage.
It
It was a heart-rending spectacle. The audience thought it was part of the play. They began to throw money to the floor amid the shouts of joy over the family reunion. At that very moment, the director came out of his room. He had such a fearful appearance that one looked flew with horror.
Who has brought such excitement into my theater?
My name is Pinocchio.
You are talented, boy. What is your father's name?
Geppetto. He is a poor wooden carver.
Tell me about your father.
He is a good father. He sold his coat to buy me an ABC book.
Poor fellow, I feel sorry for him. Here, take these 5 gold pieces. Go give them to him with my kindest regards.
Everyone cheers. Pinocchio, as may easily be imagined, thanked him 1,000 times. He kissed each marionette and joyfully set out on his homeward journey.
He had gone barely half a mile when he ran into a lame fox and a blind cat. The lame fox leaned on the cat, and the cat let the fox lead him along.
Good morning, Pinocchio. You seem in good spirits.
Because I've become a rich man. I have 5 gold pieces.
And he pulled out the gold pieces which the director had given him.
What are you going to do with all that money?
First, I'm going to buy my father a coat. And then I'll buy myself a new ABC book. I want to go to school and study hard.
Oh, for the silly reason of wanting to study, I have lost it all.
For the same foolish reason, I have lost sight of both eyes.
At that moment, a blackbird perched nearby called out sharp and clear,
Pinocchio, don't listen to such bad advice. If you do, you'll be sorry.
If you come with us, I will show you how to double your gold pieces.
and Pinocchio said, No, I want to go
No,
home.
I want to go home. Father is waiting for me. How unhappy he must be that I have not yet returned.
Okay, come home, but you'll be sorry.
He'll be sorry.
Tomorrow your gold pieces might grow to 2,000.
2,000. But how can there possibly be so
In
many?
the field of farmers, you dig a hole and then plant the gold pieces. Then you bury it. Water it well, sprinkle a bit of salt on it, and then go to bed. When you wake up the next morning, it will have blossomed into a beautiful tree loaded with gold pieces.
Oh, how wonderful. I will go with you.
The cat, the fox, and Pinocchio set off on foot. On the way, Pinocchio was daydreaming about the riches he would receive.
Buy my father a new coat, not a new coat, a new clothes, and we could have a new house, and a new house, a new mansion, and all that food and all the glorious riches.
Ha ha ha! I am laughing at those simpletons who believe everything they hear and are caught so easily in the traps set for them.
Simpleton? Do you mean me?
Of course, money does not grow on trees.
Not on trees.
Then they knocked Pinocchio on the head and stole his money. After taking it, they left him for dead on the side of the road.
Oh, Father, how I wish you were here.
These were his last words. He closed his eyes, opened his mouth, and spread out his legs as if he were dead. The blackbird who had been watching from afar came and perched near Pinocchio's feet.
Pinocchio, in order to earn money honestly, you have to work and know how to earn it. You have to use your hands and your brains. Now come with me. Someone wants to see you.
concern for him.
Place Pinocchio down over here.
Where am I? My head hurts.
This cup of medicine will help you feel better.
And holding the glass with his 2 hands, he swallowed the medicine at one gulp. While chuckling, Pinocchio felt fine. Who are you?
I am the Blue Fairy. I brought you here because your father, Geppetto, was worried about you. He said he sent you to school, but you never came home.
Well, it was a very long school day. As he spoke, his nose became at least 2 inches longer.
What happened to your ABC book?
I don't remember. I must have left it at my desk at
If you left it at school, you should go ask the schoolmaster and collect it.
Now I remember I had it on the way home, but I must have dropped it along the way.
At his 3rd line, his nose became longer still.
Your lies are very funny.
How do you know I'm lying?
Lies, my boy, come in a moment. There are 2 types of lies. Lies with short legs and lies with long noses. Yours happen to be with long noses.
Pinocchio did not know how to hide his shame. His nose had gotten very long.
I wanted to teach you a lesson so you would stop telling lies. Lies are one of the worst habits any boy may acquire.
I'm so ashamed I'll never tell lies again.
The Blue Fairy began to feel sorry for him and clapped her hands together. The blackbird settled onto Pinocchio's nose and pecked so hard that in a few minutes that enormous nose was the same size as before.
How good you are, my fairy. I wish to always be your friend.
I wish to always be your friend too.
I should like to stay, but I must go home to my father.
Okay then, but be careful not to lose your way. Take the wood paths and you'll get home sooner.
Pinocchio walked with purpose this time, determined not to let anything get in his way. Before long, he could see the outlines of his town, and he got much more excited and began to walk even faster. He broke out into a clearing where he could see the sea. A storm was brewing over the ocean. But that wasn't the only thing. There was a small boat, and on it he saw a very familiar face.
Father!
He jumped into the water and swam with all his might. Geppetto was in danger, and he was determined to save him. After a while, he reached the boat.
Father, I'm so glad I found you.
But their reunion was cut short when the boat was swallowed by a giant evil whale! Dun, dun, dun!
Father, you must find a way out of this big whale.
After several hours went by, the whale grew tired of swimming in the ocean and went to sleep. Pinocchio saw the twinkle of the stars through the whale's mouth and got an idea.
Father, we can climb out of the whale's mouth while it's asleep.
It's a brilliant idea, Pinocchio. But I'm old and tired. How much this climb?
You can climb on my back, and I'll carry you out.
Geppetto grabbed onto the puppet's back and they made their way to the top. Once they were out of the mouth, Pinocchio was exhausted.
Are you all right, my son? You seem tired.
Don't worry, Father. I'm still full of energy.
Geppetto grabbed onto Pinocchio's shoulders and they swam to the nearest shore. Pinocchio was exhausted and cold.
Here, Father. Let me help you lay in the sand. And, I'll help you get comfortable. I'll block the wind so that you won't get cold.
Thank you, my son.
After he settled his father comfortably, Pinocchio collapsed onto the beach.
I'm exhausted.
During their deep slumber, the Blue Fairy came to Pinocchio and looked at the worn wood on the puppet and how
will become a real human boy.
And at that moment, she placed her magic cape over the sleeping wooden body of Pinocchio and turned him into a hardy human boy. Upon awakening, he was pretty shocked at the transformation.
Yes! Woohoo! I'm a boy! I'm a boy! Well, thank you, Blue Fairy. With this body, I'll work hard in school, learn a good trade, and become successful with my life. I'll be the best that I can be and help everyone around me. But right now, I just want to hug my father.
Pinocchio, you're a real boy. I'm so happy.